Unit 6, Interesting People of the World. Unit 6, Lesson 1, The Sami of Northern Europe.
The Sami live in northern Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. There are only about 32,000 of them, and most of them live a modern life on the coast or in the forests. Only a few of them live a traditional life. These few Sami are called nomads because they move from one place to another with their reindeer. Their life is almost the same as it was 1,000 years ago. In winter, the reindeer dig through the snow to find plants for their food. In spring, these plants become very dry, and there are lots of insects. Then the Sami move their reindeer to the coast. The deer live on the thick grass there until winter. When the snow becomes deep, the Sami and their reindeer begin moving slowly back to their winter homes. There is less snow there. These nomads live in tents because they move so often. They make shoes, jackets, and pants of reindeer skin. They also wear beautiful blue and red traditional clothes. They walk or travel on skis. They have sleds, too. Reindeer pull the sleds. The long trips, often in bad weather, make life very hard for these nomads. More and more of them are staying in villages on the coast. Sometimes a mother and her children travel by car and meet the father in their winter home. There will probably be no more Sami nomads in the future. People want a more comfortable life. However, the Sami will probably always wear their traditional clothes on holidays. They will teach their children the old stories and songs. People do not want to forget their traditions.
Unit 6, Lesson 2, The Ainu of Japan. The Ainu live in northern Japan on the island of Hokkaido. They do not look like other Japanese people. They have round, dark brown eyes and wavy hair. Their skin is not dark, but light. The men have beards and mustaches. Where did these people come from? Did they come from Europe across Russia to Japan? Did they come from Indonesia? Are they completely different from all the other people in the world? Nobody knows the answers to these questions. The Ainu are hunters and farmers. They eat fish and grow rice and vegetables on their farms. The men hunt for brown bears in the forests. They eat the meat and sell the skins. The bear is also important in their religion. The Ainu people make their houses from a kind of grass. There is only one room inside. It has a dirt floor with an open fire in the middle. Their religion tells them that the house must have one window on the east side. The Ainu were on Hokkaido 7,000 years ago. In the 1800s, many Japanese people moved north to Hokkaido. They brought new diseases to Ainu villages, and many people died. The Ainu people also lost much of their farming and hunting land. Their children had to attend Japanese schools and speak only Japanese. Over time, the Ainu people began to forget their traditions and language. In the 1990s, the Ainu demanded their rights. In response, the Japanese government made a new law. Now, the government has to promote Ainu culture and traditions. The people can listen to Ainu language lessons on the radio and read a newspaper in the Ainu language. They can also take classes to learn Ainu traditions. Today, there are less than a few 100,000 Ainu people left. Will their language and traditions continue? There is a better chance now that they will. Unit 6, Lesson 3, The Yanomami of the Amazon.
The Yanomami people live near the Amazon River in Venezuela and Brazil. They live in the tropical forest far away from other people. There are now perhaps 27,000 Yanomami in this area. Before outsiders first visited them, they knew nothing about other people in South America, about the government, or about modern life. They did not know that they lived in Brazil or Venezuela. They lived in their own world. The Yanomami are hunters and farmers. They hunt over a large area. They grow their own crops and medicine in large gardens. The Yanomami are also deeply religious. For them, the natural world and the spiritual world are one. In the 1980s, miners found gold on Yanomami land. Soon, thousands of miners, loggers, and cattle farmers were using the land. The noise from the outsiders' machines and airplanes frightened the Yanomami. The mining companies polluted the water and the rivers. The loggers cut down the forests. The outsiders also brought new diseases to the area. In just 7 years, 20% of the Yanomami people died. In 1992, Brazil and Venezuela made the Yanomami land into a park. No one can mine for gold or cut trees on this land. The government said that the land was for the Yanomami people, not for the miners and loggers. Unfortunately, it was difficult to keep the miners and loggers out of the Yanomami land. In 1993, some gold miners tried to destroy a Yanomami village, and they killed 16 people. Today, the Yanomami are working to protect their land and traditions. They have their own school. They are recording their language and history. They also want to study and learn good ways to use their land. They do not want to live without trees and clean water. They say they want progress, but without destruction.
Unit 6, Lesson 4, The Hopi of Arizona. The Hopi people live in the northeastern part of Arizona in the United States. The United States is a very modern country. Tall buildings, highways, computers, and hundreds of other modern things are a part of every American's life. Somehow, with modern things all around them, the Hopi keep their traditions. There are about 10,000 Hopi, and they live in 12 villages in the desert. The weather is very hot in summer, but in winter it freezes. The wind blows hard. Farming is difficult. Corn is the Hopi's main food, but they plant vegetables too. They raise sheep, goats, and cattle. They also eat hamburgers and ice cream and drink soft drinks. They live in traditional stone houses, but many of them have telephones, radios, and television. They have horses, but they also have trucks. Kachinas are an important part of the Hopi religion. Kachinas are spirits of dead people, of rocks, plants, and animals, and of the stars. Men dress as kachinas and do religious dances. People also make wooden kachinas. No two wooden kachinas are alike. The children attend school and learn English and other subjects. They also learn the Hopi language, dances, and stories. A few Hopi go to universities. Some of the adults live and work in nearby towns. The Hopi want a comfortable, modern life, but they don't want to lose their traditions. Unit 6, Lesson 5, The Maori of New Zealand.
Polynesians live on islands in the Pacific Ocean. The Maori are Polynesians, and they live at the southern end of Polynesia in New Zealand. The Maori arrived in New Zealand from other Polynesian islands over 1,000 years ago. They were the first people to live in New Zealand. In the late 18th century, Europeans came to live in New Zealand. At that time, there were perhaps 250,000 Maori in New Zealand. Over the next 100 years, Wars and disease killed many Maori. By the end of the 19th century, there were only about 40,000 Maori left. During the 19th century, the Maori also lost much of their land to the Europeans. Many Maori were afraid that they might lose their traditions and language, too, but this did not happen. Today, the Maori population is increasing. There are about 500,000 Maori in New Zealand. Most live like other New Zealanders, but they are keeping the Maori language and traditions alive. There are now Maori radio and television stations. Many schools teach in the Maori language. Nearly 1/2 of Maori language speakers are 25 years old or younger. Maori culture is also alive and well. At the center of the Maori culture is the marae. This is a special place for ceremonies and meetings. Today, the number of marae in New Zealand is increasing. Many of the new marae are in the cities. Now, people in the cities can meet and learn about their Maori traditions. Today, most New Zealand cities have yearly Maori festivals. Among the festival activities are competitions in speaking, dancing, and singing. Children practice for months. Then all the Maori in the area arrive to watch the competitions and see who wins. Today, the Maori live a comfortable, modern life. However, they are not losing their traditions because they are passing them on to their children.